top as we present the SEC on ESPN. A huge night in the conference, and the best team in the country, Alabama, puts its unbeaten conference record on the line here at Thompson Bowling Arena. Number 1 against number 10, Tennessee. The Vols reeling a little bit after a couple of setbacks on buzzer-beating shots. That hasn't dampened the spirit of this crowd. Anytime you get an opportunity to knock off number 1, they are ready to go. Joined by Jay Billos, Alyssa Lag in a moment. I'm Carl Ravitch. What an atmosphere we have here tonight on a Wednesday evening, hump day here, and a huge hump for this Tennessee team to try to get over. Alabama's been as good a team as there is in the country all season long, and now number 1.
Alabama's too deep at every position. They're long, they're athletic, and they have great depth. And Alabama's the number 1 scoring offense in the Southeastern Conference, over 83 points a game going against Tennessee, who's the number 1 scoring defense, holding their opponents on average under 60 points. And the challenge for Tennessee is going to be stopping Brandon Miller, number 1. Their sensational freshman who's averaging just under 20 points per game. And anytime Brandon Miller is in the middle of the lane, you know that he is going to get a screen coming out for a shot and looking to score. He's going to get a little middle pin down here from Jaden Bradley, and he's going to come off a handoff from Charles Bediako. He can shoot it here or he can drive it. A right-hand drive right down the pipe. He draws help, he can pass it, and he can score it. In his second jump, he gets a lot of his own misses for stickbacks. And he's also being used by Nate Oates as a screener to free him up. Here he's going to set a little flex back cut for Noah Clowney to get him into the middle of the lane. And then he's going to get a screen from Javon Quinterly to come up from that same handoff action from Bediako right in the middle of the floor. And you get separation. He comes off firing. You go underneath, and he makes 70% of his uncontested shots. That puts him in a gang of 1 nationally with his ability to score.
Yeah, he's number 1 in a lot of categories, including being the leading scorer on the team. He's the leading rebounder. He's the only player in Division I with 470 points, 200 rebounds, and 75 three-pointers made. Before Tip, say hello to Alyssa.
You guys are talking about number 1 a lot. The fans out in Tuscaloosa excited that their team is finally in that number 1 spot. But this team, they're being cool, calm, and collected when they talk about it. Javon Quinterly told me that the rankings came out while they were at practice this week. Head coach Nate Oates came over to Javon, said, should I tell the team now or should I wait? He said, let's let everybody go home, learn the news on their own. They can stay cool, calm, and collected. We'll talk about it tomorrow. So that's what they did, guys. They came back, and the message was simple from Coach Nate Oates. The target on your backs just got bigger.
I don't think it took very long for them to all find out they were number 1, and they have beaten number 1's North Carolina. They took care of back on the 27th of November, and they also beat number 1 Houston December 10.
He's trying to keep it from him. He's not processing. They have phones.
Go home and get on them. Tip is controlled by Tennessee and the home whites. Jonas Adu gets the start. They are undermanned tonight. No Josiah Jordan-James, and no Julian Phillips as Ziegler throws up a 3, and that's off. Offensive rebound. Another one missed, and another offensive rebound by Adu, who's got a wingspan of 75.5 inches.
Vescovi's got one of the best shot fake, ball fake games in the country.
Meshack, that one's off. Finally a rebound for Alabama. It's Brandon Miller.
Miller being guarded by Jemai Meshack. He is smaller, but a really good defender, very strong and athletic. That's a really good matchup.
Bradley's a freshman. Sears a terrific transfer. Bediako's starting with a banged-up left knee. They were surprised it recovered so quick, and now he and Vescovi collide, and it was his right knee that took the brunt of that, but Vescovi is the guy down on the ground.
Yeah, Bediako just needs to set that screen, let the offense use it. You let the ball handler use it. When you lean in like that, you're going to get an offensive foul. But he just leaned in. He took Vescovi out. And Vescovi is one of the most hunted players on offense and defense that you're going to find. He is constant motion. He's in great physical condition because he's got to run 5 or 6 miles a game with how he comes off screens looking to shoot it.
And his body over the years has changed so dramatically here at Tennessee. He is a specimen. 6'3", 192. He's got it now.
He does such a great job, Vescovi, of going slow to fast. He sets his man up before he comes off screens.
Ziegler will try again, and that time he knocks down a 3.
Zakai Ziegler, over his 8 starts, is averaging over 13 points and 7 assists, and those 7 assists lead the SEC.
Tends to play better against better opponents. He averages 13 against top 10 opponents. 8 games he's had that. Clowney, he knocks down a 3, and that's Alabama's game. 3s and points at the rim.
And their penetration sets up their ability to spray it to open shooters that space out so effectively. And Olivia Kamwak has to move as the ball moves.
One thing that Nate Oates stressed, Santiago Vescovi cannot get an open 3. He just had one, and Oates is going to his bench.
But it is hard to keep from separating with him. You try to stay on him, but he does such a good job of holding his position, and then he goes. The slow to fast is difficult to guard.
So Jaden Bradley's going to come out and like to get an earful. Yeah, and that's in fact exactly what he's getting from Nate Oates. Great block by Adu. And a pretty electric start. Tennessee's knocked down a couple of 3s.
Looks like Tennessee's doing a little pre-switching with the way they're starting off guarding. There's the switch to get on Sears. You had Vescovi guarding Bediako just because it's going to be a switch. So it's a pre-switch situation. And Bediako ought to just take him right down in the low post.
Quinterly ended up throwing the ball off of Adu just to avoid a 5-second violation. And that time he did get it in. Miller step back. Too strong. Two of the better defensive teams in the country in this game is Adu. This is his first. Jay, Alabama combines top 10 defensive and offensive efficiencies, but both of these teams can shut down an offense.
Well, they play a little bit differently, and you're going to see Tennessee, ball pressure is their thing. They want to put so much pressure on the ball that you take away vision of some of the actions that Alabama runs. You know, ball pressure is the first thing in post defense. If the passer can't see in, it doesn't matter.
Miller refused to be denied. He got all the way to the basket, and Adu with a foul.
You're going to see Alabama attack the rim and then look to kick it out to three-point shots. They get their 3s off of penetration. They don't want 15-foot jumpers. They're not interested in that. They want 3s, they want layups, they want free throws.
Fourth season as the head man of Alabama, and plenty more to come. A 5-year, $30 million extension.
Yeah, these are two of the best coaches in the country with Nate Oates and Rick Barnes. Rick Barnes has been at it for a long, long time, going back to when he was an Alabama assistant in 1986 under Wimp Sanderson, back when they had Derek McKee and Buck Johnson, Mark Gottfried and Jim Farmer were the guards. That was back when Gottfried had that mullet. Remember that mullet?
I do remember the mullet. It's almost 4 decades of head coaching experience. He's got 8 years here at Tennessee.
Mark Sears guarding Santiago Vescovi. He's got to stay with him. There's a switch.
Meshack to the elbow, then the paint. Floater was no good.
And that's good defense because that's not a high percentage shot. It was within 7-8 feet of the basket, but you make them take a floater. That's good defense.
Quinterly, Sears 3, way too strong. It's a great deal of faith that Oates has in Javon Quinterly. With his experience, the fact that he consulted him on should we tell him about who's #1 and when, is an indication of that. Nice pass inside and a potential 3-point play.
Just a screen and roll to the basket or slip to the basket by Olivier Kamwa. You had a little switch. They just throw it right over the top of Mark Sears, and Kamwa's right there under the bucket. You help up, it's going to be a lob, even if it's a lob for a layup rather than a lob for a dunk. You just want to bluff and retreat, make sure you get back to the man. But that middle action, Ravi, is so hard to guard.
Yeah. Foul on Sears, his first. They doubled Quinterly and nearly forced a turnover.
Quinterly's one of the best ball handlers in college basketball. He's just a wizard with the ball.
He had a little give and go with Bediako. He didn't get it back to him, and now we're going to get a walk. Adu and Bediako, a couple of 7-footers going at each other.
Well, that's the pressure. You know, a lot of teams will play off of Charles Bediako because they're not worried about him hitting a perimeter shot. But Rick Barnes says, look, if he can't shoot it and he struggles to handle it, let's make him handle it. Alabama's got a good turnaround jumper in here.
How about to the baseline? He got blocked by both Clowney and Bediako, and he's down the other end of the floor.
That's the length of Alabama. They've got long defenders.
Great job by Meshack on Miller. Clowney hard to the hole. He was met there, able to hang on to it and get it in off the window after Adu blocked the initial shot.
Boy, that's a big-time finish by Noah Clowney. Showed strength and resilience. I mean, that vertical contest, years ago, that would have been a clear foul, but that's being allowed now.
Yeah, Adu brought that ball down, and that's a steal for Sears. Miller. Off, offensive rebound, put back up. No foul called, out of bounds. It'll be Tennessee basketball, and they are leading by 1.
Noah Clowney, just a freshman. He is long, athletic, and he is strong. Goes right into the chest of Jonas Adu, knocks him back, and never took his eyes off the rim. Got fouled and still made it. That's a big-time play by Noah Clowney.
Kyron Lawrence did it for Vanderbilt, and then DeAndre Golston did it for Missouri. They've lost 3 of the last 4, 2 heartbreaking fashion. How much do you put into the fact that they've lost those 2 games relative to, yeah, they're just not playing great? I mean, is that just a case of a couple of shots that went in, otherwise they win those 2?
Tennessee played pretty well at Vanderbilt. They should have won the game. Santiago Vescovi missed a couple free throws. He was heartbroken about it, and then he came off a corner shooter on a drive, which, he shouldn't have done. But, the game against Missouri, you can say, hey, they gave up 86 points. That's not Tennessee defense. But, Missouri hit some ridiculously difficult shots in that game. Sometimes you have to give credit for great offense versus really good defense. And I think Tennessee's fine.
Yeah, guys, Rick Barnes was talking this week about how confident he is in his team's ability to really stay together. I talked to Zakai Ziegler earlier today. He said that comes from so many of the guys on this team having played in the postseason, played in the tournament last year. They know how terrible that feeling is to end your season out of nowhere. So the accountability factor of this team is real.
They're having a hard time, Alyssa, Alabama getting the basketball in, especially on that baseline. Quinterly thought that Miller was going to extend his left hand, and he didn't. And if you're just joining us, Julian Phillips not playing. He's that freshman 6'8". He's got a hip flexor issue, and Josiah Jordan-James, the senior, is out with an ankle injury, so they're a little undermanned, and as a result, a little more playing time for guys like Tyreek Key, who is into the game, and Tobe Uwaka, 2 physical specimens that fit right into this football/basketball game.
Well, physical is going to be the word of the day in this game, and Alabama is going to have to adjust to the physicality. Every cut, they're getting bumped, and it's something you're going to have to deal with because clearly it's not being called, and it's just going to be a part of this game.
Uroš Plavčić, speaking of physical, is also into the game. 7'1", 265-pound senior, wears 33 in white.
Really good at ducking into the lane. You have to be aware of him ducking in from behind the defense.
Ball fake from Tyreek Key. His first shot, no good. There's a battle for the rebound. Plavčić comes up with it. Open 3, Ziegler.
Best time to shoot a 3 after an offensive rebound, and a really smart play by Plavčić of kicking it back out when he didn't have the immediate stick back.
Contested for Miller and right in the face of Plavčić, and Plavčić actually gave him a pat and said, that's a tough shot on the way back.
Oh, he knew it. I mean, you get a 7-footer switching out on you, and he made it right over him. And that just shows the just high ability level of Brandon Miller. Now watch when this ultimately comes out to Plavčić. He doesn't have the stick back, and he immediately looks out. He was looking for Vescovi, but in midair found Ziegler for that step-in 3. And look at this. He gets switched out by a 7-footer. That is not an easy shot. And Plavčić knew it. He says, good shot, man. I did everything I could.
Miller's got 5 early. It's 11-10. Handoff Ziegler. In and out. Boy, there are at least 4 to 6 hands up there every time the ball comes off the rim.
And give credit to Santiago Vescovi. He's sticking his nose in there to rebound, even on the offensive end, to get some second chance opportunities. Even if he can't get it, just him battling for it gave them the call.
There's Vescovi.
Transitions where Alabama has to make something happen. If you can beat this defense down the floor, it's better than going 5-on-5.
Miller challenged. He knew it. He had Ziegler on him and giving up about 8 to 10 inches, and he went right over him, and Miller's got 7.
Rick Barnes wants Tyreek Key, who just took that shot, to keep shooting. He's averaging 18 points a game over his last 2.
Look at Quinterly, step back 3. Offensive board. Bama. Here's Noah Gurley into the game.
Well, that's a heck of a rebound by Pringle.
And Nick Pringle, as just mentioned, off the bench as well. Quinterly got grabbed by Plavcic. Then he got hit in the head on that attempted shot. And Javon Quinterly doesn't want anything to do with Fulos Plavcic trying to pick him up off the floor.
Well, after the play, Javon Quinterly kept going. I think Plavcic said, if you're going to keep going, I'm going to keep going. And there was a foul after the foul. But Quinterly is so good coming off ball screens. He doesn't just blast off it. He takes his time and gave a little hezzy move and then took one in the chops well after the whistle.
Vescovi will take a break. Meshack back in for Tennessee. A really strong offensive rebounding team is Tennessee. We've seen it early. Ryland Griffin into the game, and again, trouble getting the ball in on the baseline for Quinterly.
And they're going to have to adjust because Tennessee's switching every action, and they got a big guy, Plavcic, guarding the ball out of bounds. You're just going to have to get open rather than try to run your action.
Meshack hard to the hole, and that's a charge. And you can see tempers are starting to get a little warm. Pringle just stood there and waited for the car to run him over, and it did.
Well, with this level of physicality, it's going to get chippy. That's a certainty. But Meshack had the initial drive. I don't know. Pringle looked like he still had his foot on the.
It looked that way.
I'm surprised they're not taking a look at that. Whether he got there or not, you have to be completely outside of that arc. People are calling it the smile now, but the restricted arc.
Nimari Burnett into the game as well. They're getting some production from guys like Burnett in particular. Pringle's playing some more minutes. And Ryland Griffin shot really well as well. He forced a turnover there. Did Ziegler. Ahead. Perfect. Yes, sir. Tyreek Key ahead of the field. Ziegler, great vision.
Well, he didn't pass it to Key. He passed where Key was going to be. That was a next-level pass by Zakai Ziegler.
And Griffin dribbles, and he loses the basketball. This is a tough atmosphere for freshmen, and we're starting to see a little bit of that. Crowd all clad in orange on their feet, and not easy to handle.
Javon Quinterly leaves the floor to make a play, and Ziegler made him pay for it. And that's a big-time pass in transition to Tyreek Key for the easy bucket. But the ball pressure that Tennessee is putting on Alabama is clearly having an effect. It's making it difficult for Alabama to start their offense and initiate things. And you give credit to not just Zakai Ziegler, but Jemai Meshack. His pressure on the ball has been excellent. Good curl of that screen by Key.
3 straight turnovers for Alabama on the offense. Plavcic, size on Pringle, good double by Gurley, and he forced a travel. Exactly the type of game we figured we would have. Intense, physical, and Brandon Miller doing his job against Zakai Ziegler. The other thing that Brandon Miller did earlier today was walk 94 feet with Jay Billis. We'll find out about his
Uncrustables, Ravi. Uncrustables.
Eating habits. Exactly.
94 feet with Alabama's Brandon Miller. So I hear you're a car guy. What is your go-to car?
I prefer a nice Dodge Charger with a big motor. You know, I like the sound of cars. You know, not really the speed because I'm not a speeding kind of guy. So I think just the
very
motor
smart
and the sound. Yeah.
All right, you've put on some weight since you've been at Alabama and gotten a lot stronger. What's your go-to weight gain food?
Definitely a nice Uncrustable without the crust for sure.
But Uncrustables don't have a crust. That's why they're called Uncrustables.
See, my man Noah Clown, he can budge in with me. See, the crust is the little Ritz part around that's holding all the liquids in the Uncrustable. So we call that the crust, so we take it off.
All right, you played baseball.
Of course.
Were you better at baseball or basketball growing up?
I mean, of course, I feel like I was a better baseball player, but as you grow up, you start growing and get taller. So I feel like nothing really fit me, like pants, jersey. So I just stuck to basketball.
And showers are awful too for big guys. Smart move. 94 feet.
An excellent 94 feet. Excellent.
I'm still trying to come to grips with cutting the crust off something that has no crust to begin with.
As he said, in his world, there's a crust, and I believe he referred to you as my man.
Well, when you say my man, to an older person, that's a nice way of saying, you idiot. He's a great young man. And obviously a great player, but what's most impressive is how good he is with his teammates. And he stands out on the floor, but he doesn't stand out among his teammates. He's one of the guys, and he hangs out with the managers, and he's just a terrific young man.
Adu from the foul line knocks it down, not contested by Bediako, and Jonas Adu is on the board.
You guys were just talking about Brandon Miller. Now he's one of the guys. Well, talking to Javon Quinterly earlier today, he said, yeah, he is, but he's one of those guys that I knew was going to be something special as soon as he set foot on campus. Also, guys, in that last timeout, Nate Oates really getting on his team when it comes to turnovers. 6 turnovers early. That doesn't bode well for the blue-collar points he loves to chart in game.
Yeah, that's right, Alyssa, and 10 points off those turnovers. Alabama doesn't have any points off turnovers yet.
And a number of those turnovers have been out of bounds under.
Yeah.
I think it turned it over at least 2 times, maybe 3. And part of that has been the size on the ball, but the other part has been Tennessee switching it. And I think that you're going to see them adjust.
That'll
Great
count.
play by Adu.
Adu just tipped it up and in.
He's been productive thus far in the game, getting his 2nd start in a row.
Bradley the alley-oop, and that shot is off the rim. Bediako fights for it, throws it up and in. Good effort by Charles Bediako with a bad knee.
Boy, that was a multiple effort play by Charles Bediako. Didn't get it to go, but didn't give up on the play. Those are difference-making plays in a game. The multiple effort play. Great curl of the screen.
Sears trying to help from behind, which freed up Vescovy. He sees a lane, and he threw it up backwards because Bediako went straight up vertically. Bradley lost the ball. Another turnover for Alabama.
And that was the kind of turnover that Nate Oates is going to have a problem with. That's just being strong with the ball because you know you're going to get hit.
Key, open 3. Too strong.
What a crossover.
Foul there on Bradley. He'll go to the free throw line and shoot 2. Baylor and Kansas. Jay, you're off again for a game on Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern time. That's a Sonic blockbuster. The game day crew is going to be at Allen Fieldhouse to start the day at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Still working on the dinner plans, apparently. And then Syracuse hosting Duke, which should be another terrific day of basketball. 4 and 6 game day kicks it off at 11 a.m. Eastern time.
Jaden Bradley, who's at the free throw line right now, such a talented freshman. But he is a downhill right driver. And anytime he has the ball, you got to play him first for the drive. And even though teams are playing him for the drive, and Tennessee just did, he's so proficient, he's going to get to the basket anyway. But if you can force him to his left, you have a better opportunity for a better outcome.
He's been very good with the ball this year as a freshman. 84 assists, just 52 turnovers. Their win against Auburn, he was a star. He had 12 points, hit 5 of 6 shots.
And he was great in that win against Houston. Early on his career, to come in that type of game and play with the toughness and tenacity he did, that was a statement game, not just for him, but for Alabama.
Adu down low, left-hander, no good, and that ball deflected out of bounds. It'll go with Alabama. You've seen so many college basketball games. How do you describe the intensity in the paint in this one?
Everything is contested. Every catch, I mean, just getting the ball in bounds for Alabama is stressful. And it's physical on every cut. You have to run through every cut or you're going to go backwards.
Sears found a lane, but Adu was there to impact that shot. Key curl. Misses again, and you're right, Jay. They have emphasized him to keep shooting. Air ball, Vescovi. It'll stay with Tennessee. But Adu has been so active.
Well, Jonas Adu got his first career start against Missouri. Had 6 points, 4 rebounds, a couple of blocks. He's got excellent hands and really good mobility. He's the best shot blocker on this Tennessee team. Bradley doing a good job on Vescovi, making the catches tough.
Oh, what a play! Vescovi the pass, Kamwa the finish.
Kamwa's rolls to the basket have been violent. He's given so much attention to Vescovi that Kamwa was open for the lob. What a play.
There's going to be a foul. No, a travel on the baseline. Well, it looked like he was throwing it to an Alabama player, and out of nowhere came Kamwa's right paw.
Well, watch Kamwa after he sets this screen. He just turns and goes right to the basket, lobs it right up over Bediako. But he screens, just turns his head. He didn't even open up to the ball. He just turned his head and went. What a big-time play by Kamwa.
Where second and third screen viewing is essential. You've got Virginia losing to Louisville. Cavaliers started the night a half game back of ACC leading Pitt. That's on ESPNU. Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, an essential game for the Hokies right now on the ACC network. And on the SEC network, Florida trying to snap a 3-game skid. They're home to Ole Miss. Ravi.
KC, thank you very much. Take a look at the SEC standings. Alabama, really the toughest game they have left. Arkansas is at home. They have Georgia, South Carolina. There's a legitimate chance they finish the season unbeaten. A&M is sitting there at 10-2. There are some terrific and important games on the schedule tonight. Beyond this one, Kentucky is at Mississippi State on SEC Network at 8:30. And Arkansas is at A&M. Jimmy Dykes and company will have that one at 9 o'clock. So bubble games. And this one, you made a good point to me earlier. Like this game may not knock a team out of a tournament, but it can propel you.
I think it's a springboard game. You know, this is the kind of atmosphere where if Alabama wins, I mean, it's just a confidence builder to an already confident team. But for Tennessee, having lost 3 of the last 4, you know, you win this game even with Josiah Jordan-James and Julian Phillips out. I mean, I think Tennessee is absolutely a Final Four contender.
Yeah.
But this gives you that added belief going down the stretch. And even though Alabama, your point about their remaining schedule, those are games that they should win. You know, with that #1 ranking, you're getting everybody's best shot. And it's going to be hard to win all those games.
Dominic Welch into the game. He's out there guarding Vescovi with 5, and Vescovi launches from way downtown and missed it. On the floor they go, and now a tie-up. And we got 3 or 4 bodies. The possession arrow to Alabama.
They bring the sticks out and measure this, see if it's a first down.
A lot of clutching and grabbing when that ball hits the ground. Just like a football fumble. Brandon Miller back in the game. Alabama 6 turnovers on 12 possessions when he was out.
Well, he draws so much attention, it opens up things for his teammates. And he's being guarded by Jemai Mashak. And Rick Barnes made the point to me yesterday at practice. When he coached Kevin Durant at Texas, the one thing Durant did not like was being guarded by a smaller, super athletic guy like Mashak, and he's taking it the other way.
That ball was blocked at the rim. Quinterly did a really good job holding his ground, and then he got some help from Welch.
And Pringle was in there. Just Quinterly being there allowed Pringle to catch up and really affect that shot, and Meshack had to adjust it. So that's not necessarily a block shot, but it is a chain shot.
Key not on early in this one as he missed another one. Brandon Miller looks for Quinterly. Key has taken 7 shots and he's made 1.
Tom Welch transferred in from St. Bonaventure. He can really shoot it, although he's not shot it well in an Alabama uniform yet.
Gurley can shoot from 3. That one's a little too strong, and it was tipped up and out of bounds by Pringle. It'll go to Tennessee.
The bodies are flying in this game. Both Welch and Meshack on the deck in that rebounding scrum. Jemai Meshack is from California. He was all CIF at Etiwanda High School, the same high school that produced Darren Collison, and Kessler Edwards went to Pepperdine, playing in the NBA now. It's tough to be all CIF. You got to be good to get that distinction.
Plavsic wide open underneath, and now Miller came over to help a little late, but the shot is up and missed. Opportunity for Tobe Awaka.
Yeah. Alabama very fortunate that Tennessee didn't score there. Brandon Miller didn't rotate down after that double came to Plavsic.
Gurley takes another one, knocks down a 3, and also getting knocked down was Pringle on the play. Great pair of rivalry games on Sunday. NFL has stepped aside. The Mahomes and the Chiefs win a Super Bowl, so we got really good games. Jaquavian Smith and number 23 NC State get Baycott in Carolina, 1 Eastern. Then number 2 Houston, led by Marcus Sasser, hosting Kendrick Davis in Memphis. Another team that's on Lenardi's bubble.
I think Baylor has the best offensive guards in the country because there are 3 of them. But if you get it down to 2, boy, it'd be NC State.
Yeah.
Jaquavian Smith and Jarkel Joyner, those guys can score, man.
Were you all CIF?
Yes. I'm glad you picked up on that.
I did. You kind of put it out there. I swam around it for a while, took the crust off of it, and then I went in.
You can't take the crust off an Uncrustable. That's going to come up in Brandon Miller's NBA interviews, I'm sure. They're going to ask him about that, just to get to the logic of it.
What do you see that no one else sees? Another turnover. Sears just had it slip out of his hands.
That's like asking for taking the cheese off a cheeseless pizza.
Right. Ziegler knocks down a 3 over Sears.
Just a great read. I mean, Sears went underneath that action up top instead of getting over it, and Ziegler just stepped back and knocked down a 3 on him.
Breaks a 1 for 10 skid from the field, and again, Sears, he pushed off there, and Steven Anderson was all over it. We saw him extend that arm to create some space. And Nate Oates sees Sears, the Ohio transfer, a little frustrated, and takes him out of the game.
Now watch Zakai Ziegler here. You see Sears goes right underneath Plavsic. He just stepped back to the 3-point line and knocked it down. It was a little screen, rescreen action. They call it twist. It is hard to guard. You get over the first one, and then you go, I don't want to get over this thing again. That guy is big. You go underneath it, and Ziegler makes you pay with a 3.
Ziegler's got 9. He just flew by Griffin, and then a dump off to Plavsic, who lays it up and in.
Well, you have to force him into that screen. You cannot let Zakai Ziegler refuse a ball screen and get a straight line drive.
Tennessee by 6. 4.5 to go in the first half.
The pressure, look how high out Alabama's got to start its offense. They can't get into the scoring area without 3 dribbles.
Another turnover, Gurley. 3 straight turnovers for Alabama. They've had streaks where they've had this type of number. Ziegler is 3 of 5 from the floor. Plavsic very deep and up and off the window.
Well, right now, Tennessee is dominating this game on the defensive end, and that has made their offense better.
A 7-0 run. Bediako went over Plavsic on the alley-oop.
Boy, that's a much better action for Alabama. Get in, set a ball screen right away, come dead off it, and then Bediako rolls to the basket.
A lot of contact. A foul is called from out top. Michael Roberts called it. Even though Green and Anderson were a lot closer to it, Roberts saw something.
Well, Tennessee refusing the ball screen. It draws help, and he just dumps it off to Uros Plavcic, who puts it in. And then Plavcic gets that deep position, just buries Bediako, and a little drop step, and then up off the glass. And Alabama with the middle ball screen action, roll into the basket. There's no help there because it's in the middle of the floor.
Kevin Sean in studio coming up at the half. We'll discuss the pros and cons of Uncrustables. Plus, we'll check in on Virginia, upset brewing there, and go 2-on-1 with Baylor star Keontae George. How the Vols open up this lead?
It's just all about the defense. The guys have been talking about it. They are so disruptive at the defensive end of the floor. They're not allowing Alabama to feel comfortable, and they've capitalized on the turnovers they forced.
Fun first half. Fun.
Mr. All-CIF, Jay Billis. I know what it's like to be All-CIF. You're a legend.
You're right, Farnham. It is difficult to be all CIF, and we should trumpet that at every opportunity. But you're right about the turnovers. I mean, 12 turnovers for Alabama in this first half. That's led to 17 points off turnovers for Tennessee. And what's interesting, the shot difference in the game. So Tennessee has 32 shot attempts, Alabama 18. And with all those turnovers, Alabama's only down 6. I mean, it could go to 8 with these free throws, but only down 6 given all the times they've coughed the ball up. And you know that's going to be a big topic of conversation at halftime for Nate Oates and his team.
The 12 turnovers are too shy of their average for a game, which is 14.
So if they don't turn it over the rest of the game, they're under their average.
That's right. And they can do it one more time.
But this defense has been stifling.
Miller nearly made it, and instead he'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2, but he put Meshack into a little bit of a spin cycle.
Well, Meshack is not going to completely shut down Brandon Miller, but he's made it really difficult to start this game. I mean, everything Miller has gotten this far, he's had to work for and then some. But I thought it was interesting what Rick Barnes was saying about Kevin Durant, how he disliked being guarded by smaller, super athletic guys rather than a bigger guy. And that was one of his thoughts on putting Jahmai Meshack, because Jahmai Meshack fights you, man, every play. Super athletic, great length, and he's had a big effect on this game in the first half.
Stays on the floor with 2 fouls. Barnes has great Durant stories and says the turnaround game in Kevin Durant's collegiate career at Texas actually was here at Tennessee, and Barnes was coaching him at Texas. The team was up 6 with a couple of minutes left and got within a minute, and he decided to take a shot. He missed the shot, subsequently came down and took another one and missed it, and Tennessee won the game, and his dad was all over him. Said, you got to go to apologize to your team. Came back after a Christmas break and was a different basketball player.
Got Kama on him. He can.
Whoop,
what a hezzy.
He did. And he missed with the left hand.
Well, that's a big-time hesitation move to get by Olivier Kama.
Ziegler moves to the corner.
That was a really good cut by Meshack.
In the paint, Kamwa, wide open 3. No good, not his strength. You're right, Jay. For a team that feels like they're down 10, they're down 4, and could get it to 1. Bradley got fouled, and he can't kiss it in off the window, but he will shoot 2 more. Foul on Ziegler.
Now watch this move by Brandon Miller. Kamwa got switched out on him, crosses him over, backs him up, and then puts him on skates. Didn't get the finish, but he was right there for a tip-in as well. And a lot of the offensive rebounds that Brandon Miller gets, he gets off his own misses. It's tough to contest a shot and then block him out afterwards.
Kamwa has made only 11 threes, only 28 attempts this season. But again, there's no Julian Phillips tonight and no Josiah Jordan-James. Hip flexor issue continues to bother Phillips during the shoot-around today. Basically was stretching and trying to loosen it up. Josiah Jordan-James took some shots today, but he was not involved with the shoot-around, and he's dealing with that ankle injury.
He suffered that against Vanderbilt, I believe, and you know that takes out a versatile defender that can switch off, a guy who can make a 3, and a really good rebounder. Boy, it's amazing that Tennessee was near the top of the polls. They're still ranked in the top 10. but they don't have one player ranked in the top 20 in the SEC in scoring or rebounding.
Yeah.
You know, they do it by committee.
He got fouled. He created that. He jumped right into Burnett, and he'll go to the free throw line.
It's almost like dribble drive motion there that they use, where they're getting the ball from side to side, and ultimately you're going to get somebody that can turn the corner.
Yeah, guys, it appeared a few minutes ago when Coach Barnes took Tyreek Key out of this game, it was because he didn't take a shot that he had a wide open look at. You guys have been talking about how much they've encouraged him to take those shots. When I talked to Zakai Siegler earlier today at Shoot-Around, I said, what are we not talking about enough when it comes to this team? And he pointed right at Tyreek. He said, number 4, when he is on, when his confidence is high, he does big things for this basketball team. That's why we tell him, hey, if you want to go 0 for 10 from 3, do it. We know you're going to get hot eventually.
So he's the 6th all-time leading scorer, Tyreek Key is at Indiana State. Can't pick up your dribble there. A great trap in the backcourt by Tennessee.
Miller got the timeout. We will take it with him. Back with less than 2 to go in the first half. An intense SEC showdown between number 10 and number 1. JB, women's basketball matchup tomorrow night at ESPN. 2 of the top teams in the ACC. Olivia Miles, Notre Dame is number 10. They get Haley Van Lith, and Louisville 19-8 will start at 7 Eastern at the Joyce Center. Notre Dame currently 11-3 in the conference. Duke is on top at 12-2.
Did you watch that LSU South Carolina game on Sunday?
Hard not to be focused on the coaches in that game, but yes, I did watch a little bit of that.
South Carolina's a real deal.
Oh, yeah.
Angel Reese is outstanding, but Aaliyah Boston. Caitlin Clark's the best scorer in college basketball, but Aaliyah Boston's the best player.
Alabama has numbers now, and Burnett lays it up and in. Tough shot over Adu.
Amari Burnett's a difference maker. With him back healthy, he gives Alabama that much more depth. Really good defender. Transferred in from Texas Tech. He was a McDonald's All-American there, recruited by Chris Beard.
Crumwell right into Miller, and they're getting a foul on the floor on Brandon Miller.
And that's smart by Kamwa to go right at Miller. Make him guard. You know, when you have a leading scorer, a big-time offensive player, one of the ways you don't just go after him defensively, you make him guard. Pick up a couple fouls on him. One of the best ways to silence a great player is to get him on the bench in foul trouble.
Nate Oates, all the analytics that he uses, not that Miller is in any foul trouble tonight, as he has only 1, but he says the numbers don't suggest with 2 in the first half, it's an automatic take your guy out.
No, I mean, I think that's the best defense that coaches play on their own guys, is taking them out with 2 fouls early in the first half. Remember Jim Calhoun did that in the national semifinal with Emeka Okafor. Great play by.
Yeah, he drew the foul, and Bradley is going to have a chance for a 3-point play.
How do you stop him from getting downhill? I don't know when downhill came into our lexicon. It used to be just getting to the basket. Right. Now we call it downhill. The court is flat. That's another uncrustable thing. But he turns the corner, and they forced him to his left, made him use the screen, and still he's able to get to the basket and finish.
His minutes have been slightly reduced the last 7 games, but again, terrific against Auburn.
And part of the reason is because they're healthy now.
Yes,
you got Amari Burnett back in, and Rylan Griffin has emerged. Now you've got fresher players out there, so you can be more productive in fewer minutes. Boy, Bradley almost took that the other way.
He lost his shoe, and now he's able to kick it back on. Now he's firing a shot up, and that comes up a little bit short, but it's going to stick with Tennessee.
Boy, with the difference in shot attempts in this game, Tennessee's taken 14 more shots. They forced all these turnovers. They're only up by a point.
Tyreek Key is 1 of 8. He had a terrific second half against Missouri in which he scored 21 points. He had 23 in the game, and there's the sort of Vinnie Johnson microwave reference. Like, you're going to get hot. We know it. It happened in Missouri in the second half.
Microwave is such aged technology. It's got to be like air fryer.
Air fryer? Yeah. Adu went up high. They do not get a call. Wow. They go the other way. Challenged Clowney, and there was a whole bunch of contact. Bradley again.
He got
no good.
Too.
Yeah, he did, and he may be hurt. He came down very awkwardly after that collision with Meshack.
Boy, Adu went up so strong to the basket.
That'll be the third on Meshack.
Now watch this refusal. Ball goes to Adu. I don't know. That's a lot of contact. And then the call seemed like it came late, but the officials have been instructed, give yourself a beat to let the play finish. And so it's not necessarily a late call. It just seems like it relative to the way things have been.
Rick Barnes is asking for some clarification. I wonder if he's curious if Bradley created it. Did he kick his leg out? They're going to take a look at it.
I mean, there was contact there, but that's a basketball play. And it actually occurred after the foul. The foul's up here. I mean, that's the foul there. He got past him with his hips and shoulders. And his arms were more up than out. So I'd be very surprised if this is anything other than a play-on situation. But you never know.
Alabama on a 10-3 run the last 3 minutes and 32 seconds. While we're half this time here with 29.3 on the clock, and an explanation coming from Steven Anderson to Jay Billis. Incidental contact, it looks like he's going to say, and they get it charged with a 30-second timeout. In this conference in college basketball, Jay, when you look at it as we get ready for the end of the season, conference tournaments, NCAA tournament, how would you describe the nature of the unpredictability even amongst the top teams?
Well, I think the difference has been that there are certain teams at the top that are more talented than the field, whether it's Purdue, Houston, Alabama. What's separated, in my judgment, Purdue, Alabama, Houston has been their high-level consistency. They don't have a lot of dips. And, you know, you saw against Gonzaga, for Alabama, against Gonzaga and Oklahoma.
Yep.
You know, they didn't bring the same kind of intensity that they brought most of the season. You can blame part of that on youth, with 50% of their scoring coming from freshmen. But overall, this Alabama team has been high-level consistent. That win they got against Houston was one of the best wins any team's had all year. I did that game, and they were down, I think it was 17 early in the second half, and it looked like that game was going to get away from it. And Nate Oates went to a smaller lineup, took Charles Bediako out, and they made an incredible comeback in a difficult environment. That said a lot about the resiliency of this team. Alabama's legit. So is Tennessee. But Alabama's got a little bit more offensive firepower.
Trying to break the tie. Ziegler to Adu. Baseline, that's short. Clowney has it. There's 3 seconds to go. 2. Bradley. No. Alabama ends the half on 11-3 run. We made the point. Jay certainly did. They are so close to the game, it feels like they're getting out. Alyssa, it's 29-all.
Coach, how would you evaluate the first half so far?
I'm really proud of our effort. I thought our guys played well. We got so many wide open shots that we got to knock down some of them. You know, even the one right there at the end, but proud of the effort. Our guys fought really hard, and we got to continue to do it.
What do you need to see more of defensively in the second half?
Well, I think what we're doing right now, but the bottom line is we got to make some of those open shots.
Thanks, Coach.
Alyssa, thank you. 11 of 37. That's 29% from the floor for Tennessee, and they have made 4 of 13 from 3. Great game here. Kevin Connor, Sean Farnham with the rest of the night in our halftime report.
All right, Rabbi, thanks. Tight, physical game there in Knoxville. Massive top 20.
Welcome back, everyone. 29-29 as we get set for the second half. This is the SEC on ESPN. Really, the last 4 minutes of that game brought us to where we are now. Brandon Miller, 9 points. Ziegler's been terrific. Turnovers and points off turnovers have been a big story Tennessee 0 for 5 when it comes to field goals in the last 4 minutes. They didn't turn it over. Neither did Alabama in the last 4 minutes. But the defense has been exactly what we talked about in the first half, and it's certainly played out that way.
Physical and stifling. I mean, everything has been contested, but the difference really is in the shot attempts. It's 37 shot attempts for Tennessee, only 21 for Alabama. And Alabama's contesting things at the rim. It's not like they haven't been good defensively. They have. I mean, Tennessee's missed some open shots. They need to get someone other than Zakai Ziegler into the scoring column, but Tennessee's defense has been absolutely awesome. Talk about physical. They forced 12 turnovers in that first half, scored 17 points off of them. It was 7-2 in second chance points. Some of those things overlap. You can get an offensive rebound off a turnover as well, and that counts as points. But defensively, I think that Tennessee has been magnificent. But their offense, they need to get guys hitting shots. And Tyreek Key is the #1 guy because he's going to get open looks and he can make shots. He just didn't make them in the first half, but he's capable of going off.
Meshack has 3 fouls. He'll start the second half on the bench. And Tyreek Key, again, had that huge second half against Missouri with 21 points. They throw the alley-oop to Kumwa to get it started. Key is 1 of 8 from the floor in the first half.
Starting out the second half, get a quick trap. But after that initial play, when they got the lob to Kamwa, they really did a good job of playing off Alabama's aggressiveness.
There, Clowney picked it off. He gave it right to Adu.
Can't let him turn those screens down.
Adu with the left hand has played very, very well with no Josiah Jordan-James, no Julian Phillips for Tennessee. Sears in open 3, couldn't connect.
Guys, I just caught up with Alabama head coach Nate Oates. I asked him what the message was at halftime. He said, well, we're doing everything else pretty well. We just have to quit turning the ball over. Defense looked good outside of the first 4 minutes, and somehow this thing is tied. He said Tennessee came out, was really physical. We had to adjust to that. We're rebounding well, winning on the boards, but we got to hang on to the basketball.
Adu over the top. That was an easy one to see as Ziegler's 3 missed. Yeah, it feels like guys like Bradley started to get their feet underneath them in a game in this environment, the only meeting of these two teams this year, with that intensity and that defensive pressure that Oates was talking about.
Well, the pressure tends to speed you up a little bit.
Yep.
And one of the things that has sped up, you saw Mark Sears with that corner 3. You know, he took it a little too quickly. He was really wide open and could take his time off of it. Good pass.
Miller was open for a second, and then Vescovy got back. That shot comes up short.
You know, that's one where Miller needs to drive it. You know, use that shot fake and just get downhill and get it to the basket. But when they're guarding Zakai Ziegler, you've got to make him use the ball screen. He's turned down a few of those, refused it, and he's got straight line drives to the basket, and that puts you in rotation.
Kumwa. Oates and Alabama want to push, and Bradley does. There's Sears again with a ball fake, and a rare 2-point mid-range jump shot for Alabama.
It was just a beautiful shot fake, and that was a Mark Sears that was not going too fast and totally under control.
Baseline, that's no good. What will it take to get Key going? Is it just one shot going in?
Oftentimes with a shooter, you see it go through the net, gives you a little bit more confidence, start seeing a bigger basket.
Sears trapped and in trouble, and Oates is sitting there, and looks like he's going to get the foul against Tennessee on Ziegler, and there's the verticality. Yeah, he was right in. He didn't even move, and I think maybe the leg got in between.
Yeah, they call it the cylinder. So if you invade a guy's space on a trap and straddle him and start getting into his space, they're going to call the cylinder. It's like this imaginary tube around the player. You always love it when the officials have to use imaginary things.
Sears stepped out of bounds. Nice job by Santiago Vescovy to get in front of him.
You know, the pressure that Tennessee puts on, it's one thing to get pressure, but be pressure and still able to contain the ball. That's difficult to do. But both Ziegler and Vescovy are very good at it. guard Ziegler. He gets so low to the ground. It's like trying to guard a fire hydrant.
Vescovy, yes, sir. Corner three, Santiago Vescovy.
Just a little baseline drive and then the baseline drift. You saw Vescovy come more from the wing down to the corner and make himself available. Neck ball. We led the nation in that.
The neck ball.
Here's the baseline drive. Ziegler gets around, and then the drift to the corner by Santiago Vescovy. That's just really good basketball by these two guards that know each other so well. And Vescovy was ready to shoot it as soon as the ball arrived. Alabama has not been able to run an out-of-bounds play to score. A little 2-3 zone now for Tennessee.
Yeah, that ball was tipped, I think, by Cumwall. Bradley thought about an alley-oop to Bediako and instead shot it.
Alabama nowhere near as efficient, I should say, as at zone offense as they are at man offense. Yep. So Rick Barnes trying to switch things up a little bit.
Vescovy. Adu. In and out. Clowney in traffic. Rips down the rebound.
Those are not easy shots, that little short corner jumper.
Miller wide open, splash.
He just doesn't miss those. That's a Brandon Miller layup. 70% on uncontested shots. And because he's so good, he doesn't get many uncontested. But when he does, he makes them. Boy, Kama was wide open in the post. He ducks in there, he's got to get it.
Vescovy inside the three-point arc. He's now hit his last two. He's got 8.
As good of a cutter as he is, he cuts, he's always completely under control.
Sears dumps it off. Bediako, I think the foul was called beforehand. And it looks like it's on Zakai Ziegler. If so, that's his third.
Well, Brandon Miller has 12 points in this game, 9 in the first half. You give him an uncontested shot in transition, you can just count it.
"94 Feet" with Alabama's Adam Cottrell, and it's all dad jokes. Well, so you're a dad joke guy.
Yes,
so
sir.
What's your go-to dad joke?
Well, right now we're going 94 feet, but I've only got 2. So I don't know how we're going to get there.
All right, that's a horrible dad joke. All right, what's your? Give me some of your best dad jokes.
The go-to one is why did the Scarecrow win an award?
Why?
He was outstanding in his field. And in an interview about the award, you know what he said?
What?
He said, "Hey, it's in my genes."
All right, when your teammates want to hear a dad joke, what would your dad joke be right now?
I'd ask them if they've been to Switzerland and if they know the best thing about Switzerland.
What is it?
I don't know, but the flag's a big plus.
This is brutal. 94 feet. That gives you a hard hat. That's awesome.
Adam Cottrell is a great guy. I don't think he's going to be a nightclub comic anytime soon, but those were great. You're a dad joke guy, aren't you?
Yeah, I was until I said, "Jay, what are we missing at halftime?" And you said, "If I knew we were missing it, I wouldn't be here telling you that."
Yeah, we wouldn't be missing it if we knew we were missing it.
So you dad joked me at halftime.
You know, my wife stopped following me on Facebook because she didn't like my bird puns. But I'll tell you, two can play at that game.
Oh, yes, they can. There's the block, 2 from behind. Quinterly back in the game. You were always the Toucan Sam guy. You're a Fruit Loops guy, right?
I love Fruit Loops.
3-ball corner. That's good. Burnett.
Well, that was a quick attack of that 2-3 zone. Just skip pass to the corner. I love Damari Burnett and what he adds to this team. Both he and Ryland Griffin, you go to the bench and they elevate your team rather than your team taking a dip. Not many teams have the bench production that Alabama can offer. Great shot fake.
Yeah, tough pass. Mishandled, and now back to him and up and in. Boy, strong and a good pass from the tall guy, Plavcic.
And Tobe Awaka has great hands, and he's an outstanding offensive rebounder, one of the best rebounders per minute in the country.
Back-to-back threes off the zone. Brandon Miller buried that one.
And that could pull you out of the zone
real quick.
But I think Rick Barnes may stick with it. You know, that's one of the things Jim Boeheim always talks about. You know, the first couple of shots they hit, it makes you think, oh, let's play man. But Alabama hits a ton of threes against man, too. Alabama's defense is underrated.
Yep.
This is an excellent defensive team.
Ziegler, Quinterly. Good matchup with 5 to go. He fires one that's off to the left. Plavcic underneath. He's strong. He lays it up and in. He got good position against Gurley.
Boy, smart move by Uros Plavcic to go right into Noah Gurley, get to the other side of the rim.
They stay in the zone, so that puts pressure on this guy, Clowney, who drives, no good, tips it up, no good.
And they're doing, that's a really smart play there by Tennessee. The ball goes into the middle. If Clowney makes that play, it's just a 2. So they fan out to 3-point shooters and force Alabama to be a 2-point shooting team. And that's a tough 2 right in the middle of that zone. What a screen by Plavcic. He screens you. You stay screened for a little while.
Good bounce pass, Plavcic. Put it on the ground. He'll get the foul called against Noah Gurley underneath.
Well, you let Ziegler get under the basket and take it to the other side. But this is an excellent offensive, a wedge offensive rebound, and then going right into the body of Noah Gurley to get to the other side to take away the shot block opportunity. Plavcic's best game this year was probably that game against Kentucky, where he's going against Shibwe. And I think he wound up with 19 points in that game, if I remember right. But God, he ducks in so hard. You might have to repair that backboard, but it worked out.
Well, we got the whole house started to be constructed. We have the screen, and we have the window.
And even after that happens, show no emotion. Act like you tried to do it. But this is the test here. If he does it again, then we'll know he tried to do it.
For that one and grabs it. Look at Meshack on the floor.
What a play by Tobe Awaka to keep that alive.
That's right, Awaka. I called him Meshack. That's right. Yeah, he's having fun too, getting up off the floor.
Meshack got on the floor to go get it, but Awaka kept it alive, and then Plavcic tries to save it. Meshack first to the floor. And the crowd here loves it, and they should.
They're on their feet. Meshack playing with 3 fouls. Gurley picked up his 3rd. So he heads to the bench for Nate Oates. Look at Ziegler put on a dribbling clinic, and it will not drop for him. But a lot more smiles on the Tennessee side right now than you're seeing on the other.
How do you guard this? And look how low to the floor he is. It's like trying to guard Muggsy Bogues in a phone booth.
Free throw good. We had a conversation with Rick Barnes about Muggsy Bogues. Did he describe him as the best high school player he'd ever seen?
I don't know about the best, but he's one of the best. I mean, at his size at 5'3", I played against Muggsy Bogues in college. And you'd pull down this ferocious rebound, and he was really strong, and he'd come from underneath you from behind and take it away from you and make you look like an idiot.
Great pass. Open 3 and an air ball. Quinterly.
And Alabama doesn't have to take the first shot. I mean, Clowney was open, but now that it's becoming a time of possession game. Spending all your time on defense, you get worn out mentally. So where does Tennessee go to get a bucket right now?
Well, the shooters on the floor are Ziegler and Vescovy. They put Key on the bench, continues to struggle from the floor. Points are hard to come by. Tennessee by 4, under 12.
Welcome back to Knoxville, Tennessee, where the Vols have a 4-point lead over the #1 team in the country, the Alabama Crimson Tide. I was just standing over by Alabama's huddle, listening to what coaches are emphasizing right now, and it continues to be turnovers by head coach Nate Oates. Also, your defensive assignments, assistant coaches really preaching to guys. If your assignment is Santiago Vescovy, you do nothing but guard Santiago Vescovy. They know that he's capable of hitting some big-time shots, guys, that can set this arena on fire.
Yeah, and they're kind of waiting to explode. Thank you very much, Alyssa. 44-40, under 12 to go.
Yeah, what Alyssa's talking about is face guarding Vescovy. That means no help. And if you're closing out to Vescovy, you've made a defensive mistake. A ton of contact on that shot, but you gotta play through contact in this game.
So here they are, the #1 team, as Alyssa alluded to, for the first time in 20 years. Last time was 2002, 2003. Being #1, being in the top 15 has not been easy this season. How about a 51% winning percentage on the road? The second lowest in a season in the AP poll era. And Alabama knows all too well. They went on the road as a top 15 and got thrashed by Oklahoma.
Ari Burnett's doing a good job on Vescovy. Just got picked off by Kamwa on a switch. Now it's Miller.
Vescovy in the corner, knocks down a big three. And they're on a 7-0 run.
Miller switched off on him, and you give him a little bit of space. He gets that shot up so quickly. And after hitting that corner three a little while ago on that baseline drive, he's confident right now.
How about Nomari Burnett coming back the other way and scoring? Vescovy's got 11 to lead the way for Tennessee. Ziegler's got 10 on the other side. Miller 15 points, the only Crimson Tide player in double figures. Ziegler. Too strong and a good rebound inside.
Pringle can really elevate.
There goes Burnett right into, and because of that, they call an offensive foul.
I'm not sure he was there, but maybe the lowering of the shoulder was what did it. But Vescovy gets the switch and just gets a little bit of space here when he gets it back. Brandon Miller turns his head, and that gave him all he needed to get that shot up. And yeah, it was probably the lowering of the shoulder, because otherwise that would have been a block.
Burnett and Gurley each 3 fouls for Alabama. Meshack 3 on the other side. Vescovy goes to the bench. Key back in. 1 of 8 from the floor.
Pringle making it difficult on Adu out front.
Boy, Ziegler stops on less than a dime.
Alabama in drop coverage off that ball screen. They're not worried about a 12-footer. They want to take away threes and layups.
Ziegler has 4 on the shot clock. Kamwa's going to have to launch. He does. No good. And the rebound goes to Sears. Meshack from behind, causing all sorts of problems. Bradley had a lane, laid it up, no good, and he was hammered, and there's no call. I mean, you can hear that.
Holding that right arm. Boy, this has been a slugfest. And the amount of contact on every action and shot. If you're looking for a whistle, you better buy your own.
Adu, yep. Foul line jumper, they're letting him have it, and he's hurt him a little bit tonight. Jonas Adu now with 6 on the night. Check that 8 he's got.
I think Alabama they need to start using Brandon Miller as a screener.
Offensive foul against Miller. Meshack seems to be really enjoying the challenge of guarding Miller.
Well, he's rising to that challenge. Now Jonas Adu catches the ball at the free throw line, and that's a shot that Nate Oates is not going to be upset with, because it's a tough 2. And Miller has an angle. I don't know. I mean, guy's going to the basket. What's he supposed to do? You know, the defense wasn't in legal guarding position and didn't return to it. That's a tough one. Interesting call.
Adu camped out at the free throw line again. He picks up his dribble.
5 seconds.
Yep, they get the violation against him.
When you're caught in that thing, that's when the defense is saying, "What are you counting by 2s? It's not 1 Mississippi. Let's go." Looks like Alabama going to go to some of their elbow action to try to free up Brandon Miller. So horn set. Now Miller sets a screen, and then he comes off the handoff. Well defended by Meshack. He just shot the gap.
Miller too strong, and Adu with the rebound.
Well, this has not been a game where you can establish rhythm. Like an MMA fight. Good duck in by Kamwa.
Threw it down on the rim, and Miller's able to pick up the rebound.
It's a good recovery to be able to challenge a shot and still get the board.
We got a whistle, and Griffin drew contact. Jay, Saturday, ESPN, noon Eastern, we will start. We're highlighting these two games. So Kansas hosting Baylor in the Sonic Blockbuster at 4 Eastern time, 3 Central. Syracuse will host Duke, another huge day of hoops. College Game Day crew will be at Allen Fieldhouse to start the morning. Do you know what time that show starts?
It starts at 10 a.m. Eastern. We've gone to 2 hours.
Love that.
Seth Greenberg demanded more time.
When Seth makes a demand, people high up listen.
And Kansas coming off a great win at Oklahoma State, where Bill Self played. Grady Dick had 26 points in that game.
They get it in, and that's a block by Adu at the rim. Connie a little soft laying it up there, and Adu would have none of it. Kamwa, he got fouled by Miller.
The second great duck into the lane by Olivier Kamwa. You know, when Tennessee's running down in transition, watch this block. A good lob pass, Meshack on the backside, and with the left hand, Jonas Adu just wipes it away. Adu's 9th in the conference, about 1.3 blocks per game, and he doesn't play a ton of minutes. This is only his second start.
Yeah, but he's earning a lot of minutes, isn't he? He's been very, very active tonight. Sophomore out of Durham, North Carolina.
Really good mobility, but Ravi, before when Tennessee comes down in transition, they want their big guy to get down on the baseline after they run the middle of the floor. They call it the pipe.
Yep.
So get down on the baseline, and then you duck in from there. Flattens out the defense, and then you get really deep post position. Kamwa's really good at that.
Rocky Top on its feet, an 11-3 run the last 5.5 minutes. More contact this time. A block is going to be called against Key.
Well, just a smart play, left hand by Jaden Bradley, and he is a downhill driver, but that time didn't lower the shoulder. And that last foul he got, you know, there's just no way to stay in front there. Just a great drive by Jaden Bradley.
Marquette and Xavier, Big East lead on the line, and here comes David Joplin and Marquette.
Well, you know, rebound, get the offensive rebound, make the extra pass. It's the best time to shoot the three-point shot. The defense was scrambling late there. Big bucket.
Virginia struggled with Louisville early, but Kihei Clark has given them the lead late.
Yeah, they're getting in the paint against Louisville here in the second half, and they're just kind of wearing them out.
Ricky Council, second only to Brandon Miller in the SEC in scoring. You'll see the Hogs and the Aggies only after we go final in Knoxville, Ravi.
KC, thank you. Jimmy Dykes reporting one of the hardest tickets ever at A&M to watch the Hogs come in town.
Is he just talking about how much it cost him to get in?
I'm not quite sure what he's referring to. Maybe a movie ticket, maybe the ticket to the ball game. Miller just missed a left-handed layup off of a rebound on a free throw. Either way, it's going to be a great game. That follows us here.
Alabama switching that exchange out front. Alabama, when they get the ball back, they're going to have to try to get downhill and get into the lane to make something happen. You're not going to find open shots off your normal actions. You're going to have to do it off the dribble.
3 seconds to go on the shot clock. Kumwar's shot comes up short. Clowney takes it down. Alabama won for their last 8 in the paint. Trying to free Miller at every opportunity, and he has it now with Meshack and 3 fouls on him.
And here's the guy that can get downhill for you. He's going to get a ball screen. He needs to just blast off it.
Bradley in traffic threw it up. Escovy comes away with it. The #1 team knew they were going to be tested tonight, and they are certainly being challenged on every possession. Key still cold, 1 of 9. Adu over the back of Miller, and they're going to get a foul on Jonas Adu. That's his 3rd. Some teams embrace being number one. Others were maybe a little reluctant to have the label because they know the target gets a lot bigger. You played on a lot of number one teams. What was your philosophy?
I only played on one. I was an assistant on a few.
What was the philosophy?
The philosophy when you're number one?
No, did you embrace it?
Yeah, I mean, they're handing out, you might as well take it. You have no choice whether you're number one. Somebody else votes you to it. It's just a question of how you handle it. You know, when you go on the road, you're going to take a punch, but you're going to take a bigger one when you're number one.
Connie grabbing his right elbow. He kind of blew that lost ball up, so he's slowly going back, holding onto his right arm, and another shot that missed badly for Alabama.
Alabama has no rhythm right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't a three-point shot for Ryland Griffin. That was a shot fake and a drive. I mean, you got to go into this contact and create something. Bodies are flying everywhere in this thing.
Tumwa no good. Adu easy right over Griffin.
Well, Griffin couldn't block him out. Get caught on the switch. You got no chance as a guard.
Lead grows to 8. Alabama is 6 of 21 from the floor this half.
Well, the last uncontested shot they had was in warm-ups.
Bradley, soft kiss, but he can't get it to go. But that will be another foul on Jonas Adu. As dominant as he's been tonight, they may have to go to Plavcic or someone else. That's his 4th foul.
And that's really, Ravi, I think the way that Alabama's got to attack this last, just under 6 minutes in regulation. Tennessee's taken away all of your normal actions. This game has been extraordinarily well scouted. Greg Polinsky has this scout for Tennessee. He put together a great game plan, and his team has executed it extraordinarily well. But I think Alabama's got to spread out this Tennessee defense as long as they stay in man, move the ball, and then just drive it. Drive it, try to force help, and then play off of it.
Bradley picks up his 10th point. 6 of them have come at the free throw line.
Now for Alabama, it's about stops. And when the shot goes up, that's when the real fight begins.
Quinterly, Burnett, Bradley, Clowney, and Miller on the floor for Alabama.
Quinterly making it really difficult for Zakai Siegler to get the ball back.
Plavcic, what's the call? Count it, and a foul. And that may be the 4th on Brandon Miller. Steven Anderson said he tripped him with his foot.
Miller stuck on him. He went down. Boy, it's hard to believe that's called a block. He was just standing there. You want to call it a flop, I get it. But talk about 2 feet on the floor. The standard in the charge block is 2 feet on the floor facing the ball handler in legal guarding position. That couldn't have been any more legal.
Right.
Now, you want to say it's a flop, I get it. But that's not a block.
Well, generally, Alabama has the ability to shoot themselves back into a game, but the shots are so difficult tonight because of Tennessee's defense.
Yeah, the defense Tennessee's played has been outstanding.
Adu went to the bench with a foul. Plavcic comes in and converts a 3-point play.
Alabama has shown a ton of toughness and resiliency over the course of this season, but they're going to have to bring everything out of their bag to win this one.
Burnett, step back, 3
Wow.
right on. That's a tough shot.
That is a big-time basket there by Namari Burnett. And Alabama needed it to cut this to a 2-possession game. Now you get a stop here, and all of a sudden it looks a little bit different. That was looking dire, down 9.
It was. Wrist surgery early December. Burnett, he and Griffin both becoming big-time contributors for the Crimson Tide. What a matchup this has been all night. Ziegler when Quinterly's on him. 2 wizards when it comes to dribbling. 4 seconds to go. And Ziegler high. He got banged on the head, maybe against Namari Burnett. And it is. That's his 4th.
Namari Burnett, Tobe Awaka goes underneath that screen, got caught up, he just steps back, and that was a big-time 3. Talk about a bucket that Alabama had to have. You miss that, Tennessee takes it the other way, up 9. And it puts a little more desperation into the feeling that Alabama has.
Ziegler is a terrific free throw shooter, 85% down the first one. Number one teams in the true road games this season, not neutral site, but true road games. Purdue has lost twice. In an environment like this, in a sellout crowd, in a building that holds 20,000, it gets loud when you got an 8-point lead and 4.5 to go against the number one team.
Meshack guarding Miller.
Quinterly hands it off to Bradley. Clowney with a banged up elbow got hit by Plavcic.
Well, that was a smart drive by Noah Gurley. Plavcic had to close out on him. He thought better of taking the three over the big guy and just put it on the deck to get into the middle and drew the foul. That was a smart play by the freshman.
Clowney shoots about 50% from the field, but he hits 62% of his free throws. And there are two big ones coming up here. All the attention that Brandon Miller gets, Noah Clowney has been an outstanding performer as a freshman.
He's had some big games. He put up 17 points, 14 rebounds against Missouri.
Yep.
He's won like 10 of those hard hat awards that Nate Oates hands out for the toughness stats.
6-point game as we hit the 4-minute mark of half two.
Clowney playing that drop coverage right in the middle of the lane.
Plavcic is just looking for somebody to give the ball to. Now it's Meshack with 4 on the shot clock on the baseline. Good defense by Bradley that time.
They're face guarding the guys that can really score and making other players like Meshack make a play.
Feels like a big trip for Alabama. And it's Bradley penetrating, and he got fouled.
But when he puts his head down and decides to get to the basket, good luck keeping him away from it. That is one big-time driver. Better to the right, but still pretty darn good going to his left.
He's got 10. He'll try to get to 8 when we come back in a 6-point game.
Marquette up 2 under 3 minutes to go, Sean. How about the confidence of Colby Jones?
Yeah, this has been a great game. Last night the Big East had a great one between Providence and Creighton. Tonight's no difference between these two top 25 teams.
3-point game under a minute to go. Kentucky, essential one for Antonio Reeves and the Cats.
Ball movement has been really crisp for Kentucky so far. 6 assists on 9 made field goals.
Just 2 and 3 in their last 5 games, Ravi, but they lead by 5.
Yeah, Reeves having a good start. He's got 8 points, couple of threes in that one, and Kentucky playing tonight without Xavier Wheeler again. Back here, Bradley will go to the free throw line in a 6-point game. Adu back on the floor. He's got 4 fouls. He also has a double-double with 10 points and 10 rebounds. Been great.
Jonas Adu and Uros Plavcic have both been outstanding.
Yeah.
Plavcic has 10 points. You mentioned the double-double that Adu's had. He's blocked a couple of shots. They've both been excellent.
In Tennessee's huddle, and while it was so loud here in this arena, I couldn't make out much. You can see every single timeout how much player-led coaching there is in every single moment like this. Here down the stretch, it's going to take that kind of veteran leadership from this ball team that they're so confident that they have, guys. The Vols are 19-0 this season when they're leading at the 10-minute mark in the second half, which they were.
Something to keep an eye on that number. Thanks, Alyssa. We are almost at the 3-minute mark. Ziegler penetrates, throws one up. That's tipped up and in. Adu.
Well, you come over from the weak side, try to block a shot. That opens up the offensive glass.
Adu got a hand on that. That's a block of Quinterly.
And he made him adjust it. Just his presence made Quinterly adjust that left-handed layup. I think Ziegler needs to drive him. There you go.
Adu stripped from behind by Bradley. And then he lost it out of bounds. Another turnover for Alabama. It's been a huge story tonight. They're 17th of the game. They've been a lot better in the second half.
Adu coming over, just changing the shot, maybe even getting a piece of it, but just his presence around the basket caused Javon Quinterly to adjust that shot. You adjust it for a second, and Adu can take it away.
Timeout on the floor here at Rocky Top with the Vols trying to beat the #1 team in the land. They're up 6, 2:37 to play. Trying to turn the trick one more time. Tennessee, the Volunteers wins over #1 teams. Well, back in January of 2010, they took care of the Jayhawks. Bruce Pearl was the head coach of Tennessee at that point. The final score of that game was 76-68. More recently, December 9th of 18, Tennessee took down Gonzaga. And the NBA players, Williams, Schofield contributed to that victory. Jordan Bone was there. They won that one 76-73. And the opportunity staring them in the face again tonight. #1 Alabama, just named #1 this week after Purdue loses. They are ahead by 6.
Now the question is, after the timeout, can Alabama get a stop? And what's Rick Barnes going to come back with? First play of the second half, ran something for a lob.
Ziegler with Miller on him.
How does he stay in front?
Up and in, Zakai Ziegler with a huge layup.
Well, he gets that switch. He's going to take Brandon Miller every time. Really impressive play by Zakai Ziegler.
The lead is 8. Quinterly with key on him. Bad pass, turnover. 18th of the game for Alabama.
Tried to one-hand it, and that's not going to work in this game. It's so hard to stay in front of Ziegler. It's not just his quickness, it's his leverage.
Vescovy 3, no. And Miller picks up the rebound. Another huge trip here for the Crimson Tide and the defense of Tennessee. Miller, no good. And there's a foul on the floor. It looks like it's going to be against Bradley as he sent Vescovy tumbling.
Zakai Ziegler has great quickness, but he gets so low. He can use leverage to get around guys as well. That time he just blew by the taller Brandon Miller and then still went into the body of Noah Clowney, got that to go with the left hand. I'm not sure there's a more beloved Vol
I agree with you.
that has played here in a long time than Zakai Ziegler. I mean, the crowd here appreciates just what he brings on both ends of the floor. His leadership, never changes expression.
He appreciates what this crowd and this Rocky Top family have done for he and his family after the fire which destroyed their home back in the East Coast, Long Island, New York. Pretty good tradition of point guards under Rick Barnes, whether it be Texas or Tennessee.
He had a pretty good one at Texas and TJ Ford.
Sure did.
DJ Augustine. He's had a lot of great players over his time.
Vescovy, a rare free throw miss, although we've seen that obviously late in these buzzer-beating games. He can't convert.
Mark Sears has not been able to get an open shot all game long.
Under a minute to go. Quinterly will fire the 3 and hit nothing but net.
What a big shot.
5-point game.
And you foul these guards. They're such good free throw shooters. I mean, I know Vescovy just missed one, but both Ziegler and Vescovy shoot 80% or better. But you come off of Javon Quinterly to try to give help on Sears, and that's just a long closeout for Zakai Ziegler. And now it's just up to him to hit free throws.
Zakai Ziegler, 14 points tonight. 3 of 4 from the free throw line and an 85% free throw shooter.
Since he's been inserted into the starting lineup, I think it's 9 straight games now he started.
Yep.
And he has been so good. Averaging 7 assists a game in SEC play. That leads the league in SEC games. And he's averaging 13, 14 points a game as a starter.
He had made 28 of his last 29 free throws before he missed that one. Quinterly went behind his back, and that's a mistake. Vescovy steals it. 19th turnover, Alabama.
And Quinterly's got like 6 or 7 of them. He had 4 in the first half, and you're just not going to go behind your back against this defense. That'll do it for Brandon Miller.
Fouls out with 15 points, 4 of 11 from the floor. A terrific job against Brandon Miller tonight. None of them ever got in any type of rhythm. Coming off a game in which he was 0 of 7 from three-point land against Auburn. Miller follows that up tonight with a 15-point effort. 3 of 8 from 3.
And to hold this Alabama team,
yeah.
I mean, they may get a couple buckets before the game's over, but to hold them into under 60 or in the low 60s is a remarkable defensive performance by Tennessee. We shouldn't be surprised because of the number one defense in the country. But this has been impressive. And to do it without Josiah Jordan-James, without Julian Phillips being available.
See if Vescovy can knock down a free throw. And he gets a little help from the rim here.
He's even shaking his head after that. We're like, what's the deal?
He's got 12. Alabama's season low in points, 65 against South Alabama. Eight-point lead. Now they got to get a shot up quickly. They're using a lot of clock on this trip down. As Quinterly finally penetrates and misses. Bradley picked it up, and he will end up going to the free throw line. But boy, did they take a lot of time to get a shot off. Down 8.
Well, you can't make a pass. I mean, Tennessee's out in passing lanes. They were face guarding. Zakai Zeigler was face guarding Mark Sears. These guys can't breathe out there. You know, they're looking at some of the Tennessee guys going, am I wearing this uniform or you? Because Tennessee's been in their jersey from the opening tap.
Jay, to your point, Alabama this half has made 8 shots. They've taken 26. 30%.
And they've had, what, 2 open ones? Everything else has been with a defender right in your grill.
Vescovy nearly lost it, and they will end up fouling Santiago Vescovy.
You got a timeout.
They got a timeout for Tennessee. We'll take a timeout. Less than 20 to go. 65-59. Arkansas and A&M are on deck after us.
Kevin Connors in studio. Want to let you know Arkansas and Texas A&M is underway right now. It's on ESPN News for the next 20 seconds or so while we go final in Knoxville. Number 1 Alabama, number 10 Tennessee. Ravi.
Hi, Casey. Thank you. 65-59. Star of the game, Zeigler and Adu. Adu 12 and 11, which is doubling both his points and rebound averages.
Well, you can't say enough about Jonas Adu in the game he's had. Transferred in from Marquette, where he was with Justin Gainey, who was a great point guard at NC State. So Justin Gainey worked for Steve Wojciechowski there, and when he came here with Rick Barnes, and he knew Jonas Adu and what he could do, and Adu's really starting to blossom.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big-time performance by Adu in a big-time game.
Adu is just a sophomore. He stands 6'11", 241. And whether he stays in the starting lineup or not, he certainly has got to feel a whole bunch of confidence now when he takes the floor. And by the same token, the coaching staff in him. Vescovy, instead of missing late, hitting nothing but net.
And right now for Tennessee, no threes, no fouls. You give up a layup, that's one thing. But don't give up a 3 and don't put him at the line and stop the clock.
Vescovy, 12 points in the second half. Clowney will fire up a three. That's no good. The rebound is Keys. And they will commit the foul. And here comes Rocky Top to celebrate.
After 2 buzzer-beating losses, one at Vanderbilt where on the last play they made a defensive mistake to open up a three-point shot for the Commodores, and then against Missouri. But boy, this is a football storming, wasn't it?
This was a football storming, beating Alabama. It looked like that. Will we see a court storm tonight as you knock off a number 1 team? To Rick Barnes' credit and the staff, no panic after those buzzer beaters. Love the effort that his team was playing with, and rewarded tonight, minus Julian Phillips and Josiah Jordan-James.
Well, that man right there, Rick Barnes, there was no panic in him. You know, sometimes you lose a couple games and the atmosphere is difficult and dark. It hasn't been at Tennessee.
68-59, down goes number 1. Tennessee, a winner over Alabama. Stifling defense, the fewest points allowed this season for Alabama. Only 4 times has a team scored 70 in a game against Tennessee. They don't score 60.
Just a remarkable defensive performance by Tennessee. The game plan was impeccable, and it was executed to a T. And Rick Barnes, you could hear him talking to Alyssa at halftime. Just his confidence in his team and how they were playing, and they just needed to make a couple shots. And in the second half, they did. But the defense never wavered the entire game.
Adu and Plavcic combined for 22 points. Alyssa.
Coach, it's been a tough couple of weeks for your team. How are they able to bounce back and beat the number 1 team tonight?
Just a great effort all the way around for 40 minutes, and we beat a terrific basketball team. But when you've been in it this long, you always have to believe that what goes around comes around, and tonight it was a great night for us. But I'm just so proud of the effort our guys made, especially defensively, and crowd, most underrated crowd in college basketball, but a great win. Zakai Ziegler, Santi, I'm glad he went back up there and made those shots, but a great team effort.
Your players pride themselves so much in playing that relentless defense that you coach. You mentioned it, but how were they able to be so relentless tonight?
Well, again, I got to give it to them. They stayed connected even over the last 2 games. They've stayed connected, and just really proud of the effort. You know, we played hard in the other 2 games. It didn't go our way. Tonight, it did.
What does this do for this team moving forward?
Well, it's February. You know, going to Kentucky, then on down the line. It doesn't get any easier, and we just got to get better.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you, Alyssa. First conference loss of the season for Alabama.
Look, you go on the road in this league, you got to expect to get bloodied up a little bit, and they did. But just an excellent performance by Tennessee, and you got to give Tennessee all the credit. This doesn't make Alabama any less of a team. What it says is Tennessee's legit too.
Yeah,
I think we knew that, but a couple of the results recently made you question it. But I don't think Rick Barnes has questioned his team at all. He knows. You know, Rick Barnes has talked to me a lot about, you know, the thing that coaches worry about this year is my team going to make shots this particular game? But the defense never wavers for this team. It's always there.
46% from the floor in the second half, 12 of 26. Again, the big guys, Adu and Plavcic, were terrific. Ziegler outstanding as well. For Alyssa Lang, Jay Billis, our entire crew, Mike Ireland, our director, and Scott Matthews, our producer, I'm Carl Ravitch. Huge night in the SEC. It continues right now, and thanks everyone for watching.